Today, I'm very privileged to be speaking to somebody who has, and forgive the pun, Jackie, I was going to say, really deep roots in our local community. Jaki Farrell runs Seeds for Success, hence the pun, I apologise. And I've been very struck by the astonishing work you do in so many ways. I've seen and heard from youngsters who have given reports back to area panels within Wiltshire about the work that you're doing with them. And this wonderful way that the spotlight, it's not on you, it's on them. And I really take my hat off to you for that. So what I'd like to do today is explore the history, explore the background of where Seeds for Success came from. I have a feeling I'd be right in saying it's very much part of your DNA, really. Is that the right way to put it?
Yeah.
So take us back to the beginning, firstly of Seeds for Success, and perhaps also your interest and how you came to be involved and then spearhead such a vital part of our local community here in Mere and beyond.
Okay, so it does go back a while. I've actually been a youth worker for 21 years now. And so the first 10 years of those, I was employed by Wiltshire Council. One of the projects that I was heavily involved with was a project called Leisure Credits. And so that was running here in Mere when I first started back in 2004. And project where young people would carry out jobs in the community and then get reward activities. That developed and evolved, and we developed it and grew it with young people, with their views and their opinions. So it went from just a summer scheme for 1 week, a week of work followed by a week of trips, to sort of something that was a bit more longevity. It ran at weekends, alternate weekends, it ran in all school holidays. And it was something that was never really funded through the central youth work budget. South West Wiltshire in particular was always the sort of poor relative of the youth service anyway, in that because it was rural, because there were less young people, it got less funding. So we'd always had to look out to the local community for support. So in 2012, Seeds for Success was established as a charity on its own. And then in 2014, the decision was made, and it was a national picture, youth services nationally were closing down. So the decision was made by Wiltshire Council that they would close all their youth centres and that they would focus only on targeted youth work. So the entire youth work staff team all got made redundant and all the youth centres were shut. And I'd had young people crying in my office literally crying in my office about how this was their woman's space, they felt safe, this was their home, and what were they going to do now? And I remember one young person, this young person's a trustee now for us in their sort of mid-20s. And that young person said, was genuinely devastated. And I said, okay, so there's an option. We've got a charity. Let's see. I can't do this alone and I need help. And I need young people's help. But let's see if we can grow and develop the charity. Mere Town Council were incredibly supportive. This building was empty and they were like, well, we don't really want it back. If the charity are going to use it, we want you to have it.
It sounds to me really that what you've explained there was through, in effect, disaster, through, as ever, funds being completely unplugged, the fact that you had, or there was already this relationship and the thank goodness, the charity element was sitting there alongside. That's what has really saved the day.
Yes, definitely.
And so, interestingly, also, in the same way that the youngsters are put up front and central in terms of reporting back what they're doing or what they're involved in, that also took place even in the restructuring.
Always been. It's integral to everything that we do. Young people are integral to everything that we do. Their voice, their opinion.
And you completely encourage that. It's not. I suppose the perception for so long is, in terms of youth projects, it's sort of, it's led by it's led by the adult, if you like, and then everything follows on. But from what you're saying here, no, this is a genuine, on the level partnership of equals, listening and developing.
We have a young leaders programme. Young leaders take an active role in. We train them and they help run sessions for younger children. We've got youth voice stuff where young people are involved in coming to meetings.
And theory of change has sort of sat at the heart or sits at the heart now of many charities. What benefits do you feel that process of theory of change has brought to you in terms of forward planning and in terms of being able to show to an outside world that you're developing with your team and sort of, I don't know, keeping up with the latest things that are going on? How would you put it?
I think for us, the whole thing about the theory of change is around, what are the local needs? And if you talk to the young people about what the local needs are as well. So it's just ensuring that we are really aware of what those needs are. We speak to parents. Parents tell us, we know the impact. So all of that feeds into that theory of change. And so it is about being responsive to those local needs, whilst also, it's a challenge, isn't it? Because you have to make sure that you can get the money to respond to those local needs. As a charity, none of our core costs are covered by any sort of central grant or anything like that. All of it is charitable giving or grant applications. So you do sometimes have to sort of look up where there is money, but the majority of what we are trying to do is respond to what those local needs are, what young people are telling us. And we're always very good at talking to young people about and helping them reflect on what difference has it made to you? How has your engagement here made a difference to you? What have you got out of it? What do you benefit? And for some, some of them is purely about a social thing. But for others, it is, well, I got qualifications. I got that volunteering. I wouldn't have got a job if I hadn't got those skills. So it's a range of, there's a range of reasons why young people come and engage, and there's a range of outcomes for those young people.
So in terms of those fundraising for you, I'd almost say alongside you, because it seems to me that there's this wonderful connection between, and I hope through this podcast we can really communicate this. By attending events like the Literary Festival that are fundraising events, you are underpinning the local community. And it's interesting because you said one thing which I wanted to come back to earlier on, the idea that with the young people you're working with, there'll be particular things they might do in the community. And then you mentioned this rewards point. Yeah. And I suppose it's equal for those who are attending events. Your reward isn't attending an interesting event, but the byproduct of that is underpinning our very own community and here at Seeds for Success. In terms of literature, the Mere Literary Festival approaching in October, can you give us some much needed advice? What do you think would attract young people to such a thing as a literary festival? And I mean on two counts really. There's the events that take place with different authors. So should we be looking at fiction, graphic novels, fantasy, or what? Or is that too much of a generalisation? Also, are there things that we could be looking at doing alongside the fundraising for Seeds for Success that engages with youngsters, like an author coming to you in order to talk about their work on whatever it is? What would you point towards? What do you find when you're speaking and to young people and just over the years, really? Where does reading, that little moment, that quiet moment where people can disappear into a book or indeed into their headphones for audiobooks, how would you advise us?
Ooh, that's really tricky because I think it's really different for different young people. So there are young people that read and they tell you they read and that it's their escape. And then there are young people that will never pick up a book. And also, obviously, we have young people that for whom reading's a real struggle. Their literacy skills aren't that great. But I think, we've had, over the years, we've had people come in and do some stuff around poetry, particularly to our skilled programme. We currently have a lady that comes and does some one-to-one work with young people around literacy. She's a speech therapist, and for some that's like, we're going back to that sort of level that they really need that level of support with to even be able to engage in reading in the first place. I think young people do need to read, even if it's like to be able to read and understand their gaming stuff.
It would be wonderful for the festival to be able to link up in a broader way and to connect in a broader way.
Yeah.
And actually, you have the target audience that we'd love to understand how to appeal. And I think to be explored.
Definitely. And I know there'll be young people who will come up with great ideas.
Jaki, let's just come back to this point of the history of this element of the local funding from the local community and the local charities and the like, just to explore that again. The reason I want to do that is the fact that it gives you that freedom, it gives you that autonomy, if you like, to really focus the funding where the real need is, we're discussing, rather than almost being dictated how your money should be spent when that may not necessarily fulfill that real need. So the hardest question of the lot really is, in a nutshell, how would you explain, if you were given literally a few lines and you had to give us the essence of Seeds for Success, what it does for those who come and join you here as youngsters, and also for those in the local community? What's the glue that holds it together? And what is the easiest way, it's a hard way, that you would define what Seeds for Success is and what it does, in a nutshell?
Okay, so I would say that through a mix of open access, targeted youth work and social action programs, we are engaging young people, we are helping them try out new activities, providing them with social opportunities, safe spaces, place to grow, learn new skills, and enable them to successfully transition into adulthood, providing them with qualifications if we can. But also it's about challenging negative stereotypes and perceptions that exist within the community about young people. So by being active participants within the community, helping at events and all of those things, we are changing perhaps the way that some people, if they don't get out and they only read some of the bad publicity, but perhaps changing the way young people, older people see younger people within the community.
Jaki Farrell, Seeds for Success. What a privilege and a pleasure to discuss this with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
At a recent Mere Town Council meeting, the Seeds for Success team were out in force, supporting the local community as ever. It gave me a perfect opportunity to have a brief chat with some of the team about their involvement and why Seeds for Success plays such an important role for young people in our area. Now, I'm here with Carson, Noah, Thomas and Joanna. They are part of Seeds for Success, fantastic charity here in Mere. We visited and spoke to Jaki, who runs all your events, and I thought, what a fantastic place. You've got so many things in there. You can run a whole orchestra in that one small room. I couldn't believe it. You had music. Was there a snooker table or something? All sorts. Fantastic. What I really wanted to ask you was, how did you find out about Seeds for Success, and what do you most enjoy about it?
I found out about it from my older brother who did it, and I enjoy most about it is the fact that the range of opportunities there and the stuff you can do.
So, in that range of opportunities, now what do you most enjoy?
I just enjoy getting out of the house and being able to do different things.
And I was told that one of the things that happens, which is interesting, is you do good deeds in the community and all of this. And then there's something special that happens at the end of that. There's the rewards. What sort of things do you tell me a little bit about where you help in the community, and then also what those important rewards have been, those trips and things that are organised?
So we clear like bridleways in the local area and gravel footpaths and clean rivers, that sort of thing. And then some of the trips are like go-karting, theme parks, bowling sometimes, which is always fun.
Where'd you go for bowling?
It's in Stoke.
So it's quite a journey.
Yeah.
For the different events that you do, whether it's helping in the community or it's going out on these fantastic reward events, how do you get around the place? And how easy is it for you to get to the events in Mere in any case?
So most people who live in Mere will walk up to the youth centre and we'll all meet there. We have a different modes of transport. So we have 2 minibuses. We have a pupil carrier, which is a 9-seater minibus that we got given money to get. It just makes it easier for people from like Wilton and Tisbury to get here as well, because it hits more targetable people. Yeah.
So do you find that you might have thought you'd just be
meeting people and kind of making friends, if you like, with people just locally in Mere, but you're getting to know people from a much broader area, really, that, coming from Tisbury and all over, no?
Yeah.
So, of all of the things that you've done over the years, what's been the top highlight of your involvement with Seeds with Success? Combination of both action on the ground and one of the trips, maybe.
Action on the ground, my favourite has definitely been the river cleaning, because it's a change of environment, so it was a lot more rewarding in a way.
Where was that done?
The river down there is at the Ashfield. And for the trip wise, definitely the theme park trips to Alton Towers. I love that one.
Which ride in Alton Towers?
Smiler, that's it.
All right.
I quite like doing the gravelling of all the footpaths because it's quite interesting and hard work and quite fun to do.
So you're not afraid of a bit of hard work out there at all? Also, it's fitness, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I quite enjoyed the theme park trips, like to Alton Towers.
Do you have a favourite one? Favourite ride?
Probably Smiler.
Smiler as well. All right. What does Smiler do?
Most inversions in the world.
Okay, it's scary. So, same question really. Just to come back to that thing, but what have you most enjoyed doing, getting out there, being, as something for the local community, like, and then that number one sort of favourite trip?
Personally, my favourite thing for the local community is when we go and help at events, and like today, for example, we go to several different places and help and advertise the charity, which is always fun. And then I like all things engines, so personally my favourite trip is go-karting.
Where does that take place then from the go?
Bristol.
Bristol. So you do, I mean, it really does, it's an opportunity to get out and about big time, isn't it?
Yeah.
How long have you been involved? When did you first come into Seeds with Success?
I think it was about 3 years ago. I came because my brother started and he told my parents and thought it'd be a good idea. But I've enjoyed doing, because I've done so many different parts of Seeds of Success, just not leisure credits, which is where we help the community. Things like running things for younger people than us, or we do things like sport, or you can just go see your friends sometimes.
So, in terms of the literary festival that's run, this is where we invite, leading authors and writers and all the rest to come to Mere, and you can listen to them talking. That's an event that you might be interested in helping and come and help us when we run during the week, maybe meeting some of the authors and all of that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we'll go.
Yeah.
Wait, I can do that. Not me. Don't say this is contrived. Okay. So can I just ask you, if I was to say to you that we really needed some support from strong and willing volunteers at the Literary Festival in October, would you want to come and give us a hand?
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, thank you so much, all of you. That was brilliant. And this will be made into a special podcast for all the community to celebrate Seeds for Success and to celebrate the Literary Festival. But thank you for being prepared to be interviewed today. Thanks so much.